Hey guys, for this week's class we're going to be going over the hips, T-spine, and then we're going to finish up with a shoulder exercise. The only thing you'll need for it is a foam roller, whether it's a full size or a half roller, it'll get the job done. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over a new car variation we haven't touched on yet, which is going to be a side lying hip car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my knees up at a 90-degree angle. You can make this harder by going straight legs, but for today we're going to go bent to here. I'm going to push my left hand into the floor, and I'm going to push my entire right side of my body into the floor to lock it in. Now from here, I'm going to bring my left knee towards my armpit as much as I possibly can. Once I can't anymore, I'm going to open up. Try to keep that knee up nice and high, not letting it drop. Once I can't open up anymore, I'm still pushing this side down. I'm going to rotate the heel back, trying to touch the wall behind me, and then come back down. We're going to do that 2 more times going forward. So coming up into flexion, opening up as much as you can, rotate the heel back towards the wall behind you, extend back, still pushing the opposite leg hard into the floor, and then back down. 1 more forward, and then we're going to reverse the movement. Coming up, out to the side, try to show your knee to the ceiling. Rotate the heel around, try to kick the wall behind you, and then slowly coming back down. Now we're going to reverse the movement by starting back to the wall. Going to open up the knee to the side, still pushing this leg hard into the floor. I'm going to bring it into my armpit, and then come back down. 2 more. Extend back. Rotate the hip open, bring it into your armpit as much as you possibly can, and then back down. 1 last one. Focus on not allowing your upper body to move at all with this. Extend back, rotate open, bring the knee into the armpit, focus on the spine, staying nice and still, bringing it down, and then relax. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Just like with any other cars, compare your left side to your right side, figuring out what limitations you have in this position. So stacking the knees again, you're going to push hard into the floor with the hand and the left side of your body. You're going to bring up into flexion, open up the hip. Again, belly button's going to be facing straight forward as much as possible. Rotate back, try to touch the wall behind you, and then come back down to center. Coming forward, up, open the hip up, rotate the hip, try to touch the wall behind you, extending back, keeping the body still, and then back down. 1 last one. Coming up towards the elbow and the armpit, extend back, rotate that leg back, and slowly coming back down to center. Now we're going to reverse that, still pushing the left side hard into the floor, kick back, open the hip up, bring it into that armpit, and come back down to center. 2 more like that, back, open up, into the armpit, and then back down. And 1 last one. Reaching back, opening up the hip, bring it into that armpit, and then down, and relax. The next drill we're going to do is going to be for thoracic extension, and we're going to use the foam roller for it. It's going to be called hinge point training. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to extend the spine segment by segment by using the roller as feedback. So what I mean by that is I'm going to set the roller up on my mid-back, and now from here I'm going to put my hands nice and relaxed behind my head. I'm not cranking on my neck, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on everything below the foam roller, stay nice and still. I'm just going to try to extend on that one spot that the roller's on. So from here, abs are going to be kicked on like you were doing some type of core exercise. You're going to extend right from where that roller is on your back. And then coming back to the center. You'll notice that I'm not going to get a lot of movement with this because I don't want that lower back moving. I'm trying to just segment that one spot the roller's on. So abs are kicked on, nice and relaxed on the back of my head. Moving from that one spot the roller's on. And then back down. After you do 2 there, we're slowly going to slide down the roller a little bit more. So we're going to do this in different positions. So now from here, same thing. Abs are tight, trying to extend right where I am on that roller. Going nice and slow, and then coming back to center. Again, abs are kicked on. I'm not allowing my lower back to move. Now I'm going to slide down the roller a little bit more. And you'll find that with each part of that roller, there's going to be different spots that you struggle with. The ones you struggle with are the ones you should be focusing on a little bit more while doing this. So from here, same thing, nice and relaxed with the elbows and the hands on the back of the head, moving just from that one spot on the roller. And coming back down. Same thing, one more time. And back to center. And one thing I'll tell people is pretend that there's a piece of tape from your belly button to your rib cage. Don't let that break. So that will give you a visual to make sure that everything's staying locked in here. Same thing, we're going to go for 2 reps here and then we're going to do one last set. So slide the roller up a little bit higher now. Same thing, moving just from where you are on that roller. And one more rep. Slide down just a little bit more for the last one. Now really focus as you get higher up that you're not just moving the neck. You're trying to get true extension from that one spot you're on. Same thing. And the last rep. And relax. And again, you can do that for any segment of the spine as you go through it. Just focus on just moving that one spot, wherever the roller is on you, and extending through the spine from there, not allowing that lower back. So now we're gonna focus on the hips, and we're gonna start with internal rotation and set up in 90-90 position. So 90-90, make sure front shin, back thigh, if you draw a line going out, they're both parallel. Same thing with the back shin and the front thigh, okay? I want to get into those 45s, make sure we get 90s. I'm going to get as upright as I can, and I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to put it on my trail leg, which is my right leg, I'm going to put it on my hip. Now I'm going to put the other hand on my ankle. Now if that's too strenuous of a position, you feel anything on the knee, use hand support with the hands behind you. If that's too strenuous, then you're going to take the foam roller or a block or something, put it under this leg, just so you don't need the same amount of internal rotation. So now coming back, what we're going to do here is for our pails rails, our pails are going to be the ankle, the knee, and the hip pushing down towards the floor, okay? The rails is going to be me trying to rotate my body, trying to lift the back foot off the floor. So pails push, rails rotate and lift. So hand on the hip and the ankle, we're going to push the ankle, the knee, and the hip down 25% as hard as we can. As I do this, I'm focused on staying nice and upright through the torso. Now we're going to push down at 50%. Pretend that there's a scale under you, make that scale heavier as we go. Push down at 75%. Now your hardest pain-free contraction, pushing the ankle, the knee, and the hip down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, rotate, try to lift that leg off the floor. Rotate and lift. Pull together and hold for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, don't lose your position. And we're just gonna hold for 5 full breaths. And we're gonna work through that cycle again. Again, as you go through this, you wanna make sure that there's no pain at any point of the hip. Whether it's the hip, the knee, nothing on the back leg should be bothering you. If it is, back off of that range of motion a little bit. Now we're gonna start that cycle back up, starting with the pails again. Ankle, knee, hip, pushing into the floor, 25% as hard as I can. Now we're gonna push down at 50%. 75%, making sure it's pain-free. 100, hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, rotate more, try to lift that leg off the floor. Rotate and lift. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. For 5 breaths, and then we're going to switch sides. One more breath. Now to switch, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer into butterfly position, and then we're going to transfer back to the opposite 90. So I'm going to lift my foot and my knee at the same time. I'm going to pull them into my armpit and then bring it down towards the floor. Now from here, I'm going to lift the foot, bring it into the groin, and then bring it down. Okay? Now I'm going to take the front leg, the left leg now. I'm going to rotate and make it the trail leg. So I'm going to lift up, pull it into the armpit, stay nice and upright through the chest, and I'm going to drop it into that 90. Now from here, I'm going to try to lift the foot and bring it out into the opposite 90. Okay? So now from here, same thing. Hand on the ankle, hand on the hip. Stay nice and upright through the torso, pushing the ankle, the knee, and the hip down 25% as hard as you can. Pails contraction at 50%. 75%. Now your hardest pain-free contraction through the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails for 10. Try to lift that foot and hold. Keep getting nice and upright through the torso. Try to lift the foot, keep rotating. Hold for another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax there. 5 breaths, and then we're going to work through that cycle again. And one more breath. So starting with the pails again. Ankle, knee, hip, pushing down 25%. Now working that up to 50%. Ankle, knee, hip, pushing down. 75%. 100%, making sure it's pain-free. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction. Lift and rotate. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax for 5 breaths. Take one more breath. And now we're going to transfer back to butterfly. So I'm going to take my right foot, I'm going to try to pull it into my groin. I'm gonna try to lift the left foot, stay nice and upright, pull it into the armpit, and then back down and relax. So now for our next drill, we're gonna go back into 90-90, and we're gonna focus on internal rotation again, but now we're gonna do what's called a hinge. So what I'm gonna do is setting up in 90-90, I'm gonna focus on my trail leg. What I wanna do now is, when we actually perform this, I don't want this knee to move out of the position, so it should stay here the entire time. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drop to our elbow. I'm gonna lift the trail leg off the floor. I'm gonna hinge out to the side. Make sure that my knee doesn't start to track forward on me. As I'm doing that, I'm pushing the right elbow and the right lead leg into the floor hard. I'm just trying to straighten out and then slowly bring it back in. Keeping that knee up nice and high. Make sure it doesn't come forward like I said. We'll do that 2 more times. Controlling the movement in and out at the same tempo. And after you finish that one, relax. Now, we're gonna make it a little bit tougher by getting more upright now. So we make it easier by closing off the amount of hip flexion here. Now we're gonna bring ourselves up to a tall position. So I'm gonna use both hands to push hard into the floor. I'm gonna try not to lean as much as I possibly can. You probably will a little bit with this because at the end range, it's gonna be a little bit harder to control this. So a little bit of lean's okay, just try to resist it as much as possible. I'm gonna lift, I'm gonna extend out, and then bring it back in. Same thing for 5 reps. Squeezing the fist hard to build tension, staying nice and tall throughout the body. And we're gonna do one last one, driving the lead leg into the floor. And then relax. Now we're just gonna switch to the other side and perform the same thing. First set from the elbow, second set with the the arm extended. So set up your 90s, drop into the elbow. I'm trying to lift from that hip. Make sure the knee doesn't come forward. I'm gonna extend out, then bring it back in. Make sure the knee doesn't move out of position. We're gonna do it for 5. Here you go, 2 more. Trying to straighten that leg out completely. Try not to touch the floor. And then one last one. And then bring it back in and relax. Second set, same thing. If you want to push both hands down, push both. If you want to squeeze your fist, whatever you feel like you could build up more tension with, go with that route. So I'm going to squeeze everything nice and hard. I'm going to lift, I'm going to extend out, and I'm going to pull it back in. And go 3 more like that, trying to keep the knee as still as possible. And then 2 more. Keep that knee up nice and high. And then one last rep. And relax. Again, if that one's too difficult, just drop back down to the elbow. Figure out what angle is best for you. For our next isometrics, what we're gonna do is middle split pails rails. So to set it up, I'm gonna get my legs out straight and as wide as I possibly can, okay? From there now, if this is a hard position for you to maintain, you go hands behind you or hands out in front if you're able to do it. My pails contraction here is gonna be me pushing my heels down hard into the floor. My rail is gonna be me trying to pull myself further forward while trying to lift the legs. Again, they're not gonna lift because of the isometric component here, but you're thinking, trying to shorten the distance between the floor and your chest while trying to lift. So now from here, pails to start, pushing the heels down 25%. Now we're gonna work that up to 50%. 75%, pushing the heels down. Your hardest pain-free contraction. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Try to pull yourself further forward while trying to lift the legs. Keep the chest nice and upright. Hold for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. hold for 5 breaths. After you take 5 breaths, we're going to work through that cycle again. So same thing, pushing the heels into the floor, chest nice and upright, 25% as hard as you can. Working that up to 50%. Squeezing the fists as well. 75%, as much tension as you can build, as hard as you can right now. 100%. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, pull further forward. Try to lift the feet off the floor. Pull, hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Hold for 5. And relax. So now the last drill for today is going to be for shoulder extension, and we're going to do hinges in prone position. So what it's going to look like is we're laying face down, and we're going to bring our elbows right to our sides, keeping the knuckles on the floor. From here now, I'm going to pull my shoulder blades together, getting the arms up as high as I possibly can. Now from there, I'm going to extend back, try to keep the elbow up nice and high. I'm going to hinge back down. Try not to touch the floor, keeping the elbows up high. We're going to do this 5 times. Keeping the arms as tight to your body as you possibly can. Really fighting to keep the elbows up high. We're going to do 2 more, nice and slow, keeping the same tempo in both directions. And then 1 last one. Really squeezing everything hard. Lift up. And hold, and now slowly control it back down. And relax.